in your body starts to make the chain reaction come into play. So think about these things like dominoes. One leads to the other, one leads to the other. Now, this mineral is kind of an unsung hero in the whole sliding filament theory. That mineral is calcium. So all of a sudden, with action potential, we see calcium kind of coming into play. Now, after we see a calcium ion, now I never thought about calcium being a really big player in all this. When you think calcium, what do you think of? Milk, bones, healthy teeth, all of these things. Calcium is what triggers the spring in the can. So a calcium ion is released. And so here we start off in just the resting phase. Now, look over here. 1, 2, or 3. If we start in the resting phase, what number are we talking about? 2. So we start off in the resting phase. We are loaded with this action potential, and this is when we see the release of a calcium ion. It's like something's about to take place. I'm resting, something's going down. So after this calcium ion gets released into the system, 2 other things start to come into play. And these things are actually protein enzymes, troponin and tropomyosin. Trip and trop. They're really both O's. Tropomyosin and troponin. Okay, so calcium starts, then tropomyosin and troponin jump in and they say, hey, you know what, calcium? You made the start. You were the action potential. You brought us to your game, and we're excited. Okay? They couple up, and they're excited to couple up. Excitation coupling. That's the second phase. Okay, following in your book, page 7, say got it when you got it? Right. So the first phase is resting. We have action potential. We go from resting. Calcium says, let's make something happen. Calcium signals an excitation coupling of troponin and tropomyosin. Take a breath. Everybody okay with the story so far? If you need a redo, say redo. Say got it when you got it? Awesome. Okay. Now, an interesting thing happens after the tropomyosin and the troponin come together. There is this thing called the power stroke. So they're the power couple. You know, every place there's a power couple. In Granbury, it's Amy and Stan McKay. All right. So here you have the power couple. And when the power couple come together, they actually contract and come together. And we call this the contraction phase. And it delivers this thing called the power stroke. Okay, remember, we started off loaded with potential. Calcium says something's about to happen. This is basically going from here, something's about to happen. Troponin, tryptomyosin come together, power stroke jumps in, and we formed a sarcomere during the power stroke contraction phase.
So that's after the excretion?
After what?
The E1.
Excitation coupling.
Yeah, exactly. This is excitation coupling right here. Okay? Remember, troponin and tryptomyosin get excited to meet each other, and they couple up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Who gets excited? Who couples up? Very nice. Then after they couple up, they contract, and there's the power stroke phase. Okay? It's kind of like a story. It makes sense when you tell it that way. Okay?
So
think about it like this.
Causes the power stroke?
Yes. Okay? And again, this is written in a very complicated way in your book, I'm wanting you to grasp the concept of what happens every single time a sarcomere is formed. Okay? Think about it, like I said, if you want to put it in terms of a relationship, think about it like this. There's a ton of potential. Something starts to happen. That's the calcium. Everybody's just hanging out. A power couple comes into play. They're excited about meeting each other. They couple up. In the contraction phase, everything comes together through a power stroke. So you got it when you got it? Okay. Stay with me. Stay with me. Turn the page. Stay in. It's just another page. Again, we come to the contraction phase. Now what we see happen next is, after we have moved through all of this, we end up saying, if I stay contracted, I can't deliver any more force, can I? No. So eventually I have to relax to get ready to do it all over again. And this is happening over and over. And the one thing that we see here is, after the power stroke, we talk about recharge. I forgot where's my eraser? Did I leave my eraser in here last time? Okay. After the contraction, we see recharge happen. C-H-A-R-G-E. Okay, and what recharge allows us to do is, recharge actually allows us to relax and start the cycle all over again. Roxana, have we started and stopped yet? Okay, awesome. So again, let's go again. Action potential, calcium gets fired up. Okay, what's this? We're in the resting phase. Okay, we move to troponin, tryptomyosin. They get excited to meet each other and couple up. Okay, during the contraction phase, the power stroke shortens. That's all the actin and myosin together. But then something has to happen. Recharge comes through, and recharge stimulates ATP. Does anyone know what ATP is?
Energy.
Energy, awesome. Adenosine triphosphate. So how many phosphate ions do we have? 3. And through this recharge phase, all of a sudden, we lose a phosphagen ion. So we have adenosine triphosphate, now is adenosine diphosphate. It loses its potential. Remember, go back to the potential. Okay? It loses one potential. So the only thing it can do is recharge, get that ion back, relax, and do it all over again. Michael, question.
So it creates, the recharge creates the ATP, which then...
Yes, okay, remember calcium, troponin, tryptomyosin, okay? All of this is
remember
all
all
about,
that.
it's all about enzymes,
Okay.
okay? Because one domino pushes another domino. Calcium triggers this, this triggers down to ATP. So through this contraction phase and this power stroke, all of a sudden ATP appears on the scene.
Okay.
And the only way it can recharge to do this over again is through, because it was kind of a big deal to go through here, so holy cow, we lost an ion. The only way we can do it to get back to ATP again is to go through the recharge phase. Okay? So remember, it starts with rest, it ends with relax. I know that's weird, don't mess those up. Okay? Starts at the resting phase, action potential. Calcium ion is released. That causes troponin, tryptomyosin to all of a sudden get excited about meeting each other and couple up. After they couple up in the contraction phase, there's this powerful thing where ATP all of a sudden is born. Through the recharge phase, ATP becomes ADP. The only way in the recharge to get back to ATP is to relax and let it go again.